What if the story you were taught in history class is only the final scene of a much longer film? Think about the timeline you probably learned. Ancient Egypt, the pyramids rising from desert sand, the first cities in Mesopotamia, the Roman Empire, Greek philosophers debating ethics and existence, maybe medieval kingdoms, the Renaissance, the Industrial Revolution. It feels expansive. It feels like a complete account of humanity. But here's the truth. Modern humans, people anatomically identical to you and me, have existed for more than 300,000 years. And everything we usually label as history, it occupies roughly the last 5,000 of those years. That means more than 98% of our species' story happened before writing, before recorded kings, before named wars, before the first city walls were built. So what were humans doing for the missing 295,000 years? The honest answer is unsettling. We don't know in detail. Not the way we know about Julius Caesar or Cleopatra. There are no journals from 200,000 years ago. No carved decrees, no official archives. For most of human existence, our ancestors left behind only fragments. Stone tools, scattered bones, traces of ancient fires, and mysterious images painted deep inside caves. This isn't just ancient history. This is deep time. A scale so immense that entire civilizations shrink to moments. And strangely, we rarely talk about it. Before we go further, pause for a moment. Where are you listening from right now? What time is it where you are? Early morning? Late at night? Middle of the day? Wherever you are, imagine this. Across thousands of years, countless humans stood under the same sky, watched the same constellations, felt the same curiosity. They didn't have satellites or smartphones. But they were us, not crude caricatures, not slow-witted cave dwellers. They had brains the same size as yours, the same emotional depth, the same capacity for language, creativity, fear, love, grief, imagination. If you could somehow bring a person from 150,000 years ago into the present and teach them your language, they could learn to navigate this world. They were not less human. They were living before everything we take for granted existed. So what filled those vast stretches of time? Were our ancestors simply wandering aimlessly, waiting for agriculture to be invented? That doesn't make sense. Humans are experimental, observant, restless. Even in the harshest conditions, we adapt and innovate. For nearly 300,000 years, people lived full lives. They raised children, formed bonds, built traditions, told stories around fires, studied landscapes, followed migrating animals across enormous distances, survived climate shifts that would challenge modern society. They endured ice ages, survived droughts, crossed deserts, navigated forests. They loved, they mourned, they wondered, and most of what they built vanished. Wood decays, plant fibers rot, animal skins dissolve. Coastal camps were swallowed by rising seas when the last ice age ended. Whole chapters of human experience have been erased. What remains are fragments, like torn pages from a library that once filled continents. Yet, even those fragments are enough to reshape how we understand ourselves. To understand this missing era, we have to go back to the origin of our species. Around 300,000 years ago, in Africa, anatomically modern humans emerged. Fossils from Jebel Irhoud in Morocco revealed skulls with unmistakably modern features. High rounded craniums, reduced brow ridges, flatter faces, and the distinctive chin that sets Homo sapiens apart from earlier human species. When these remains were dated, researchers were surprised. Instead of fitting neatly into a 200,000-year-old timeline, they were around 315,000 years old. This discovery pushed back the origin of our species by more than 100,000 years. And it revealed something else important. Modern humans didn't appear suddenly in one small geographic pocket. Similar fossils were found across Africa, in Ethiopia, Kenya, and South Africa, suggesting multiple interconnected populations gradually evolving modern traits. Our origins were not a single spark. They were a continent-wide process. But here's the question that still fascinates researchers. When did we begin to think like modern humans? Because having a modern body doesn't automatically mean having modern behavior. Those early Homo sapiens had brains comparable in size to ours. The same neural architecture, the same potential. But potential is not the same as expression. For tens of thousands of years after anatomically modern humans appeared, the archaeological record looks relatively simple. Stone tools dominate the evidence. Hand axes, scrapers, points, useful, effective. But not dramatically different from the tools made by other human species living at the same time. Because Homo sapiens were not alone,